Here we are, part 3 for the Tekno SCT410 2.0. I forgot I had the big camera here. Oh boy. Alright, we have more controls here than I realized. I'm using OBS and I'm still getting the hang of this system. Hopefully everyone can hear me alright. I'm still messing around with mics and stuff like that. Let me just see here. I'm going to see if we can turn this up a bit. I've got a guess now. I don't want it to be peaking out. Audio monitoring, let's try that. Well, I hope that's doing the job. I think it is, and we're not in the red, so hooray. Hooray. Right, well, I'm going to continue with this build. I know there are a few people with notifications waiting, and I'm sure a few of you guys will turn up, but I think we should just get right into it, and I'll keep an eye on the chat. So, what have we done so far? We've got a diff. El Duderino, there you are, man, you made it. I only just turned it on actually, so good timing. I actually thought I'd actually give everyone some warning today. I was talking with Nate from RC Remedy last night, and he's a bit crook, so I didn't feel bad using this slot that he usually uses this time of day, because we've got some crossover in the audience. I didn't want to compete with him, so yeah, I thought, hey, let's do it. So here we are. You haven't been here before, I don't think, but we've got the SCT410 2.0, and I'm up to bag I, which is the Bellcrank assembly. But I was just telling everyone who's watching this in future, we've got the center diff here already done. We've got the front bulkhead and shock tower. Steering is partially done. The arms are in and they're absolutely beefy. And the rear is done as well. And this is an interesting part, this fella here. There's a universal joint and a dog bone coming off it. We've got 10,000, what did we have? We had 10,000 oil in the rear and 15 in the center and front diffs. And the sway bars are the softest possible ones. So this Tekno kit so far is an absolutely stunning build. Now you can see the gear underneath the rear, but not underneath the front, because it's going to sit on this absolutely stunning 4mm plate. So this fella's going to sit on the back like so. Whoa. And we'll probably get to that today. I'm glad notifications worked for you. Hey, I'm just going to try and modify my little interface here because it's cutting off some of the chat and I can't see what's happening. Yeah, that's going to have to do. I'm using an open source platform called OBS, and it's designed for streaming, among other things. It lets me do all sorts of really clever stuff. We've got we can change cameras, and we've got all sorts of stuff. G'day LGAURC. That's all capital letters, so I guess that's how you say it. Right. I think we should get right into it because I'd like to get as far as we can, and I'll tell you a little story in a minute as we get to it because I've got a few things to cover. And I'm also getting used to the framing here. I should work out where the edges of my screen are. Hey, noisy boy, how's it going? I'm just working out my framing here. I've got things zoomed so you can see what I'm doing. And I think we might switch to a lapel mic as well, because then I don't have to be camping in on this little microphone here underneath my bench top. But it'll do for today. Hey, Brian. It is Brian, right? I got your name from when I was on the live thing with RC Remedy the other day. G'day Chris, how's it going? Nice to see you guys. I thought we'd take yesterday off because I was busy building another video for a rally car. And although I wasn't sold on that thing at first, it's the Maverick Quantum RX. I tell you what, once I was looking back on some of the footage that I took, it just had some stunning slow-mo and the body just rolled. It looked really good. And that makes me want to just go and chase down some more scale terrain and see what I can do. Man, it's nice. Right, the Teknos are a dream to build. G'day Troy. Check his 24 builds, Craig. Brian's builds are beautiful. Well, I'll have to do that. I've got to see if we can I'm still getting used to OBS, but I think it gives me an option when this little computer catches up. It gives me an option to open people's channels. Doesn't seem to do it while we're streaming though. That's alright. I will check that out later. Thanks for the tip. Okay, let's get into it because I do not want to take extra time here. Now, isn't this nice? This is going to be part of the assembly for the Bellcrank, where you can adjust the servo saver. But it's every bit as nice as any beautiful suspension piece you'd have. And this is another thing that's been typical of this build. As you can see, I'll see if I can hold them both up. We've got multiple screw options here for pretty much everything. Even this thing had a couple of mount points. Yeah, here's what I'm trying to show you. Different positions. There are actually 6 positions on the tower. Even the steering setup has a couple of different positions to look at. It's just such a premium kit. I knew it was premium when I got it, but I still was looking forward to being wowed, and I certainly wasn't disappointed. Now I've got just getting used to this setup here. We'll make sure we've got everything in frame. Yeah, that might be a bit better. I've moved my face up too, so we're not hiding this area. Right, let's get into it. Don't want to faff about too long. Okay, I think we've got everything. Now that O-ring's probably going to go into that, so we'll put them together. There we are. Right, guys, let's do it. Oh, I see. Thanks, LGAURC. So it's just LGRC, and there's an Aussie flag in the middle. I just don't see that because I'm using streaming software, I suppose. Okay, let's crack on. I'll tell you a story about motors and ESCs and stuff in a little bit when we get up to it, because that's happening today as well. Oh, you know what? I want to do this first because it just arrived today. I haven't actually taped it back up again. This is how it arrived. This kit doesn't come with wheels and tires. And I considered a few different sets. Maybe we can just rip it. Yeah, okay. And remember, I said I'm not a racer, I'm a basher. So I'm building this as a basher. So I didn't want to get all the, you know, expensive balanced racetrack wheels. What I ended up with was a couple of these guys. Why did I end up with Louise SC Rock? Well, the price was good actually. Soft compound. It didn't specifically say it was for this, but it said 12mm hex. Now this thing has 12 and 17mm hex. There's 12 sitting here and there's a 17 adapter. I actually have had some Louise tires in recent history. Sorry, I'll make the noise first. We don't need both sets open yet. Alright. Oh, they're very firm. So I went with these because it said it was... Oh, sorry, because the price was so good. They were pretty cheap, big name ones, and they also reviewed alright. It's actually fairly firm foam. Now, I just printed something yesterday. Not my design, although I adapted the a hub from the Lossy LMT. I hope this is the right size. Yeah, it is. So I'll need to stick a hex on this, but then I can just test balancing. I do need to get a hex on it. But actually I printed this little balancing setup for the, what's it called? The Mojave 4S, because if you've seen my video, you'll know just how much of a shaking mess that thing was. So I'll do this with a hex later, but it doesn't look like these things need it. Looks like they're nicely balanced out of the box. Oh, okay, here we go. So they've got quite a lot of tires, eh? Now I'm not going to be buying more cars for a little while, although I tell you what, I'm hanging out for the latest Creighton EXB, and I'll probably do a roll. Do they have a roller for that? I think they do. Yeah, they released a roller as well, so we'll probably build that. Well, it's already built, but we'll probably do that one. There's the Team Corrali Kagama behind me. However you say it, that's behind me too. Right, let's get into it. I keep saying that and I'm not doing it, so let's do it. So in this manual so far, what it's been doing is it shows you how it all goes together. It doesn't... What am I saying here? Stop talking, Craig, just do it. in some of it they would show you how the whole thing went together, and then it would say step by step what to do. This one just looks like it goes together. Okay, can use 17mm wheel wrench here. I'm just going to make sure I read everything. Tighten the nut all the way down, then turn it back off 2 full turns. I like that. There's an O-ring, there you go, it goes inside that nut. Let's get it done. Oh, I missed one of these comments. Looking at the diff housings, it looks like it might not be too difficult to make the scale power lock limited slip diff carriers for those housings. Doesn't need it. Maybe you could tell me, Mac, why you would do that instead of heavy shock oil. I'm sure the reason's obvious, but given that I'm talking and building, I've found that I can't think too critically when I'm trying to do a few things at once. So why would you use that instead of heavier shock oil? I'd be interested to know. Now this is going to be your servo saver. As you can see, it's got the grooves there, so the spring's going to let it kind of do that. Wow, that's a hefty spring. We're going to need to use some muscle. It says use thread lock on this as well, incidentally, which there's also an O-ring there. I suppose they have issues with getting it loose. Out of the, like when it's completely released, it's actually quite a long spring, so there's quite a gap there between the end point and where it's going to go. What I'm going to do is screw it on first, and we'll apply the thread lock as a little drop once I've got the thread on and in, because this is actually taking quite a lot of force. In fact, what we're going to do, completely enclosing it in my hand, because a compressed spring, I can show you but not me, a compressed spring is not safe. I don't know what you call it, it's like priming it, I guess, but I just want to give it a little bit more flex because it's going to take a lot. Oh, and I've got to remember, guys, I've got to keep my voice down, which is why this is a soft one. I've got the microphone boosted already. I'm just protecting my voice because I hurt it earlier in the week. Yikes, that is really difficult. I've got a couple of different tools here we could apply pressure with. Let me just see if we can brute force it in. I can press it down, but then I can't get grip. Jeez. Alright, here's what we might try doing. I just need a third hand. Actually, that might do it. I can't believe how much that is taking. I'm probably doing this dumb. Oh, I was letting it pop out the end. No wonder. Alright, I see. Oh, I just had it lined up and everything. Let me just pull the spring. I want to find where the start of the thread is, then I can line that up. Alright. That sounded positive. I'm not letting go of the pressure. We're just going to keep going now. I think my problem was I couldn't find the start of the thread. Are we on? Whew, we're on. Now, you'd actually line this with paper or something to not scratch it if you cared. I'm just going to see if I can do it like this. It's going to be a lot easier. There we go. So it says it do it all the way up, then undo 2 full turns. Quick pause, need a drink. Oh, that's better. How's everyone's weeks going? Any of you guys working on any RC project in particular? Repairs, upgrades, builds? Any spectacular breaks recently? While you think about answering that, last night, once I'd scheduled this impromptu live stream, I thought, do you know what? The motor I was going to use for this, it requires you. This kit requires you to supply your own mod 1 pinion, and I've got a bucket of pinions here. All right, now we're done up. I'll keep that sentence in your head for a sec. We're going to undo 2 full turns from. Okay, here we go. There's 1 full turn. There's 2 full turns, and using pliers made that very easy. Well, relatively easy. Gee, there's barely any give in that. Can that be right? Let me read this again. Because the spring they've drawn there is a lot shorter, although I guess it doesn't matter. Tighten it all the way down, then back it off 2 full turns. I definitely did that. And it matches the picture. There's a gap. So, hey, what we might do is just zoom this in. I haven't seen any new chats come in for 12 minutes, and I'm wondering if this is working or not. Someone just bang anything into the chat for a sec, just show me that it's working. While you do that, I'm just going to zoom this camera a little bit more. I think we could be a bit closer. I'm looking at my internet with suspicion because it hasn't been working terribly well. Hey, thanks David. Thanks guys. Alright, it is working. There we go. Maybe that'll be better. Now let's just make sure we stay in frame. We've got half the manual, half the paper here. I don't want you to miss what's happening. Alright, so we got that done. Now it says add thread look. My genius plan was to drop it in here once it was finished. Alright, I guess we undo it and then do it up again. I'll warm up. The drugs have got to kick in. Hang on, YouTube's automatic monetization's listening. My medication's got to kick in. Yeah, that's what I should say. Then I'll be able to think clearly. Alright. Now, I just wanted to avoid the thread lock touching the O-ring, even though they're probably compatible since the factory says to use it. I'm going to back it off some more. Nipex slip joint pliers. They're like channel locks, except the jaws are always parallel. And Chris is digging out Christmas decorations. Oh dear. Gee, it is just about that time, isn't it? Alright, we're going to make our very own fountain pen here. Put the ink on the nib and get the nib in between the springs. I said in between the springs. Come on, gee. You guys get to see all my little mistakes on camera here. The joys of live streaming. What a mess. If you're building this yourself, I guess put the dotted thread lock on before you screw the spring in. I'm going to continue with this method because I'm being a bit stubborn. Oh, hang on. Go where it's a bit wider. That makes more sense. Oh, I could have reached it in the first place. There we go. There's a bit there. It's good enough. Alright. Get rid of that. Lid that back up. Wipe the exterior. You might think I'm speaking out loud because we're on a live stream, but I actually talk my way through all of this anyway. Alright, we'll do it up. And then we're going to back it off 2 turns. Wrong tool name. They're pliers wrench. You have a set and you use them everywhere. A little expensive, but worth every penny. You've got my email address, Mac. You want to fang me a quick email with that? That I'd really appreciate it. And then I'll know I'm looking at the right thing. I said in the last live stream, these are Dad's old things. They're probably older than me, and I'm in my early mid-40s. They're just really tough. Okay, we're going from the bottom. It's actually a lot harder to undo than do up. There's 1 rotation, 2 full rotations. Okay, part is done. Next. Make sure the alignment's right. So no one's working on a vehicle or anything this current week, huh? I'm sure it's not just me. I've almost always got something on the cook. And now live stream seems to be working alright. Instead of doing all my stuff off camera, I'm thinking, yeah, we'll try and do live stream. I'll do it a little bit more. I'm doing the work anyway in the background, so it gives you guys an opportunity just to hang out and chat, which I didn't realize the value of until we've done a couple, and now I can see, even if I'm just sitting here rambling away, it gives you guys an opportunity just to hang out, because you don't necessarily talk to the same group of people here in this chat elsewhere in life. So it's kind of like a quick pop-up community here and then gone again. It's kind of cool, but it means I've got to run them, which I'm happy to do. Oh, David's working on a new body for the SCX6. Something out of the box, or you're making something that's custom? I got my green one replaced under warranty because it cracked on camera on that first review, if you've seen it. It's an awful body. And I went with yellow and black. I mean, I don't need to tell you guys that if you've seen it. It's been on the channel a bit now. I don't want to overdo this. But I really like it in yellow and black. And I used Humbrol. A friend of mine here in Melbourne told me about it. It's like a really rough primer, spray-on primer. Not designed for RC, but it takes the flex just like Lexan paint. And it goes on externally. So I painted the body yellow, and then I've got this black thing on the back of the canopy. It looks really good. I've used it on a few other builds as well. It just gives like a rough finish to the parts that you want black. I beg your pardon. The 6 is a lot of fun, isn't it? You're going to try a lightweight cliffhanger body. I haven't set mine up for performance at all, my SCX6, and I use it on the trail a bunch. I've mentioned Simon, my friend, on the channel quite a lot. He and I both get out and drive our SCX6s quite a bit. I might have to look into this other body, eh? I'm making a mess here. Oh, thanks, Mac, for the email. And I've been meaning to apologise to you too. I've still got the box of 3D printed stuff you sent me. I've looked at it, and I love the wheel carriers and stuff. I just haven't made the time to properly go through them yet, and I'm sorry about that. I've got a lot of stuff that's waiting. I've got the whoops! I nearly unplugged the computer. I've got the BRX2 here in the background. This thing took about 9 months. I was just talking to Asia T's guys yesterday. It took so long to build. Alright. The honcho body weighs just under 4 pounds, which is 2 kilos or so. Yeah, it's heavy. What's the cliffhanger weigh? Almost nothing, huh? You say 4 fewer pounds. I'm sure it will provide some benefit. That is cool. These are all the same ends, and the notched end, well, let's work out the thread here. Yep, okay, so that's regular. And as before, it says notch always goes on the left side of the vehicle. So the honcho BF price, BF. We're talking about the SCX6 here, are we, Brian? What's the BF? Oh, is that just the name of the thing? What's $830 US in AUD, I wonder? It's I noticed today you could get hold of the SCX6 in Australia with a hefty eBay discount that they offer. It's still something like 1400 AUD with 300 bucks off. Oh, I see, Black Friday. I'm sorry. Gotcha. I'm not complaining. Things are very good, but even taking inflation into account, a lot of this stuff has just gotten a lot more expensive in recent years. A lot more expensive. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, righto. We don't get manufacturer sale or access to manufacturer sales here in Australia for the, you know, the big American hobby companies, but the one place I do find consistently good sales every so often is on eBay with their membership thing. It looks like a rort, but it's not, because eBay comes to the party with the seller, so they give you 20% off and eBay wears 10% of that and the seller wears 10%, and then you end up with a discounted product that's like way cheaper than any other shop could match, and then that's still hobby shops. They're just using eBay to do it, so that's actually powered maybe a third of the cars on this channel. Which way here? I think this is reverse thread. And David says it's light as a feather. That's the that other body, cliffhanger. Alright. Can't get this to bite. That's the right direction. I was in the middle of a story, wasn't I? I found the motor that I had for this car was it had the little 3.17mm shaft, and the Mod 1 gears I have, they're all 5mm shaft. That's not straight. They're all a 5mm shaft because, you know, Mod 1 expects to be in bigger hardware, so I had to raid my parts bin. I was going to put a 3200 kV motor in this thing, but instead we're sticking a, well, unfortunately this is one of the cheapies, Surpass Hobby. This car deserves better, but the motors are still quite good. It's a 3670, yep, so 70mm length, and it's a 3050 kV, and we're going to run a 16 tooth pinion, still with the same 120 amp ESC, and I think that should be good. We need to go a little bit tighter. Yeah, I think they are linesman's pliers. They're certainly that kind of heavy duty thing. They're well, I don't know that they were cheapies. They say China on them, and they're from the late 70s. But I actually use them for fixing fences because you can cut through anything with them, and they're super solid. They're just really tough, which I like. And Dad gave them to me. I'm surprised he gave them to me because he still uses tools. So I don't know. I don't know if he misses them or not, but he said I could have them, so I certainly use them all the time. That's very precise, 28.75mm. How often do you need 2 decimal places for anything? Now these ball ends are all the same size. Yes, they are. Hey, Savard Customs RCs is here too. G'day, g'day. You use your pliers for that as well. Fences always need attention. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And I don't know what animals break yours, but kangaroos, when they jump ours and if they get stuck, sometimes they don't see the top line in the fence, so you got to snip the wire on the fence, and you got to get to it quick before they lose their leg. Then they can kind of get untangled and off they go. Then you got to twist it back together. Okay, front of vehicle, stock position, inside hole. We're still on screen? Yes, we are. Alright. I see, so we've got bigger bearings that go in the top and the bottom. Probably should do them last, but anyway, here we are. It's nice that these are shielded as well. The HPI car I was just reviewing yesterday doesn't have shielded bearings, and yet everything else is waterproof. Just kind of a shame. Okay, these are all the same length, and I see a separate looking thing. That's for the bottom. Okay. You've got a set of official fence pliers, but the lineman ones work better. Yeah, righto. Well, it's not surprising. When they're like this, they're just absolutely solid as a rock. I really like these. Alright, and we're going to go through the front of the 2 holes. We've got kind of lower res on this live stream. Hang on, I've just realised I'm looking at a preview window. Get rid of that. There we go. Oh no, okay, this is actually more visible than I thought. Good. You don't have any kangaroo, of course, but you've got Icelandic sheep. They're literally one evolutionary step away from mountain goats. Tough, strong and willful. And smart. And their horns get caught in the fence. I love how the last thing you said was they're smart, and then the next sentence was and their horns get stuck in the fence. It's a low bar. No, Craig, it's not a low bar, it's a low moo. He didn't say they were sheep, did he? Or they bring the fence down and wrap themselves up in it. Oh, that's awful. Aroos don't do that, thankfully. Although they get pretty large, these animals. Alright, now the other side. It said the notch goes left each time. Oh, they are sheep. Yeah, okay, it is a low bar. That's a pun. You know it's a bad one when you've got to point it out. Alright. It's okay, I've got my dad license in my pocket. Everything's above board. Alright, this is a really nice assembly. Took a little while to do, but now we're good. Yeah, of course, sheep aren't high on the intellectual scale, are they? This is true. It is a low bar, I said that. God, stop putting these in, Craig, just wait till you're ready to install them. One more thing, this screw, it says stick it in the bottom here because it's going to be very hard to stick in later. It will not fall out and gets its own sentence. And just like so many other parts in this build so far, it's designed, the plastic has a... Let's see if we can get this thing to focus. There we go. It's got a gap in it where it should fit. So we're just going to gently encourage it through. There we go. Yeah, no kidding, it won't fall out because the plastic goes kind of in. Nice. And because of the shape of the plastic, it's yeah, it's not going anywhere. Right, next page. Let's see. Well, that gets us to half the bag. This thing came with 2 big bags. That's the end of the first bag. Now we're up to the second one. I'll set the steering assembly down and we're up to bag J. Some big plastic pieces here, some sidebars and stuff. Nice big bumpers. We'll get to that. First, that's O. Here's J. Now I want to keep everything on screen, but also zoomed in so you can see what's happening. So we'll fold it like that there. There we go. Now we can see what's happening. There was a better way than all these single-use plastics. Can they wrap stuff in something like paper? I don't know, probably not. Plastic is just so cheap and useful, but it just sucks to have so much of the single-use stuff. Okay, there we go. Alright, front end assembly. That's not a particularly beefy part, and where the strain is going to be, it's actually bent. It's quite thin. Still, 4mm base plate, 4mm chassis plate, so yeah. Oh, g'day Derp. You were hoping RC Dude was going to do a live tonight. Who's RC Dude? And instead you got me. Could be worse. Could be no one. Yeah, it does look amazing, doesn't it? It's really, really nice. Beautiful. Alright, let's do it. We might stick the bulkhead on first. It says front end assembly, so let's make sure we grab the right end. This looks like the front to me. And let me see here. Have I done that right? Yeah. Oh, that's pretty good, isn't it? Now TKR 1324. Oh, these are nice hefty screws. 1324. Gee, these are all really close too. 1324, the shorter ones. Won't be you. Won't be you. No, hang on. 13, Craig. Not 14. 13. I'm taking a sec because I can't see what I'm looking for. That. Where's the other one? Oh, there. It's hiding. 1324. There we go. Alright. It just took me a sec. So that goes in the small ones. There we are. Okay. Right, yeah, no, Nath is crook at the moment. I talked to him last night, which is why I'm doing this now, because I wouldn't have done this today if he was running his thing, because we've got overlapping audience. I didn't want to tread on his toes. There's plenty of room for everyone, but while we're both smallish, I'd much prefer to not take his existing slot, so to speak. He'll be back next week, hopefully. Alright. Man, this thing's going to be such a beast, hey? Such a beast. Okay, now we need to put this down for a sec and identify the correct screws before I make a mess of things. 1343. There's not a lot of consistency in this naming. There are my 1343s. They go with that. There's a 1344, which will be that fella. So I'm just going to set out a schema so I don't get mixed up. There's another 1344 behind it. Yeah, good. And we want thread lock on the parts that are going into metal, of course. Yeah, we'll stick them through first. I'll try and keep this on screen for you guys. It's not going to need a lot of thread lock, honestly. Oh, right after saying that, poured a river onto it. I'm trying to keep this on screen for you, but if it doesn't work, I'll give up. Now it's keyed, so I should be able to press it down into the mold, and it'll just do up just fine. There we go. That's pretty tidy. We had a little bit of overflow. That's cool. There we are. Alright, next one. Do you know what? We're going to do this one differently. How am I messing this up? Yesterday it was just little tiny bits coming out, and today it's just a deluge. Glad you've been enjoying your computer games there, Derp. Before I did RC-TNT I played quite a bit of stuff, but I don't anymore so much. Mainly it's just satisfactory when I feel like a break. And Factorio, they're appropriately nerdy, aren't they? Alright, and then we don't need that for now. Load it back up. The first weak spot on the build, well, I don't know. These things are all metal. They've got hefty screws going into them, and they're the base of something that doesn't take a lot of weight. So it's just the Bellcrank. I don't see that as a weak spot. This I see maybe as a weak spot. We'll find out. Where does this go? These fellas there. Yeah. Alright. I am just going to zoom back out because I keep finding myself pulling this off camera. Sorry guys. G'day Matt. Nice to see you. And thank you. Yeah, it's nice to be streaming. It's actually it's passing for quality human interaction, funnily enough, even though it's just a chat box with you guys. Because YouTube channels are usually just a one-way kind of thing, aren't they? With the comments and all, but no, it's been good. Alright, yeah, no, they are longer screws. Although the ones that went in the bottom derp, they were only that long, but that's still plenty. And again, they're just holding the insert word here. What are they holding? Bellcrank. That's all they're holding, so they don't need to be super hefty. Where in the world are you, Matt? I might have asked you that before, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Alright, and well, they're using all the space in the screws here, so that's nice. We'll get that done up. It's going to be a bit slower in plastic, so we'll stick a screw into it. Finish that off with hand tool. I think it's going to take a beating, Derp. I really do. And again, remember, it's being based on this 4mm plate. I don't know what grade of aluminum it is, aluminium, but it certainly looks nice, although everything looks nice before you bash it, doesn't it? Oh, come on, dude. Get that lined up. There we go. And finish with a hand tool. Oh, Michigan. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, I did ask. I was just curious. I asked everyone last video and just got a feel. There's actually a few of you guys in Michigan. Right. Now the bell crank comes down. Let's make sure the bearings are all still sitting in there. It popped out just to make sure I was paying attention. Speaking of mass, I had a quick look through the manual before today to make sure I was prepared. I was telling the guys that were here before about the Mod 1 gearing I've got here and how the 5mm shaft was going to be too big for the motor I'd selected. And it said when we get to the servo, which is coming soon, next page after that, it said make sure it's 250 ounce per inch. I know kilograms per centimetre, and a lot of these servos don't tell me. So I was going to use this low profile coreless thing, but it's only a 12 kilo job, and that's just over half of 250 ounce per inch. So instead we're going to use a 32 kilo. It's only coreless, but I'm not using all of these heaps and heaps and heaps, so that should be fine. And it's 7.4 volt, and the BEC in this thing also outputs 7.4 volts, so that should be fine. Alright, now if I wasn't trying to keep this all on camera, I'd be cracking on a bit better. Let's see here, we've got this top fella. I'll catch you later, Brian. It was nice hanging out. Thank you. Yeah, this one might go for a little bit. Got to remember to take care of my voice like I didn't on Monday. It's just warm water, but hopefully it does the trick. Okay. I'm having trouble focusing. Let's see if we can line things up first. It might be a bit easier. Okay. I'm sorry this is probably not completely in focus for you, but well, it's the best I've got for now. These are 1444 button head, so I've got shorter and longer ones. Let's just get them all out, and then we can see what we're dealing with. So these are 1447. Get them out the way. These are 44 and these are 43. So then the 44s go next. I'm just laying out a schema here, which is in line with the screws that I've got to use. So it's these guys, 43, and there's a 40. Oh, hang on, no. What's going on here? I've got multiple different lengths here. I'm confused now. What have I done? We haven't used any button heads yet. It says 1447. That is the correct one that goes in the middle. Am I messing with myself here? What is happening here? We've got a 1444. That's not 1444. That must be for a future step. Yep, okay, we're good. I pulled a screw from a future step and confused myself. We're good. Right, and thread lock on the bottom two outers because they're going into metal. Alright. And we've got these guys going to the back of that. Let's get it in. I think that other plate should go on first. It doesn't say that, but it looks like it should. Oh yeah, I guess it does say that. This is hefty. If you didn't see the previous videos on this car, the materials they've used here, they're quite rigid, and when you're making a polymer, you can select just how much fiber goes into a piece and how much I guess polyurethane, which is itself a polymer, or whatever else it is, goes into it. Oh, you know what I should have done? You're getting my unedited thoughts here. I'll get rid of that. I like to try and stick the screws through first if they're getting thread lock, because that way, when keeping thread lock off the plastic as much as possible, it might be chemically compatible, in which case it actually literally won't matter, and it probably is the case, but I prefer just to avoid that being a possibility. There we go. Trying to keep everything on screen here. I'll get better at this. It's challenging to do this, talk, read your chat, and keep things in frame and read instructions, but it's not as hard as I thought it would be. So we are getting there, and I think we're going to get this thing done eventually. Now, I haven't messed up. Let me check before I do this up properly. It's actually on an angle, and that angle looks correct, which is nice. So the plastic here is flush as it goes down. We can tighten that nicely. Now, before screws go into that fella, this guy's going to go over the top. And I also see this longer piece is going to go through this plate and down into the brace that we just installed as well. Oh, g'day James. Sorry, your dishwasher has stopped. Good luck with it. Oh, g'day Mate's Nose. Hey, it's been fun hanging out with you. It's 1 AM. Go to bed. It's been fun talking with you on the YouTubes recently. Thanks again for your support the other day, and it's yeah, it's been nice just chatting. Now, Matt Mays says, wait, what brand was the Servo? Well, I'll tell you. Full disclosure, I have sponsorship with Asia Tees, and I can select what brands I get discounts on, like heavy discounts on, when I'm doing these things. I use JX Servo quite a bit, but I chose this because I like them. And on this channel, I won't recommend anything that I don't like. I have the luxury of doing that because I'm not, while I am running this channel as a business to some extent, and I'm working to make it go well, and it is, money is not a singular focus here, and I'm very much always going to be integrity first. That's very much my non-negotiable goal here. So I won't recommend it if they suck, and for the same reason I also like the Hobbywing stuff. I chose it, I like it. When I give links, I'll say if they're affiliate links or not, and often they're not because I don't have affiliates for a lot of stuff, but for some of this stuff I do. But yeah, JX Servo, and I've found them generally to be very good. Between the pump and the drain line, James. Well, I wish you luck, my friend. It's no fun when stuff doesn't work, is it? Alright. Probably could use a drill to get these in, actually. Oh no, they go in. And before I do these up very far, we're going to stick the back part in, because something doesn't seem right here. Let me have a look at it. There's a molded shape. I actually wondered whether this plate here should go on top of that thing, but looking at the manual, it's not the case. That goes on top. And looking at the angles of it too, that seems right. So I'm just going to stop and we're just going to do this back piece with these fellas, which might help. Oh, thanks, Matt. I appreciate you saying that. Look, you got to have your grain of salt handy in life, and we're all on our own journeys, making mistakes and stuff. Ow! I've got an injured thumb and that hurt. I'm just gonna go the max power method for a sec just to help it line up and bite. There we go. I'll finish it by hand, but I just needed to line that up. That really hurt. Yeah, we all go through life and make our mistakes and have lapses in judgment and stuff, but I'm really keen to maintain straight shooting integrity on this channel, because aside from the fact that it's all public, and so, you know, there's a reputation that's probably almost impossible to erase if you stuff something up or do something shameful. That's obviously not the main motivation here. I would just like to make things better, not worse. And if you're of a particular mindset, it doesn't take a lot of effort to make things worse, just broadly, whether it's lying for profit or even just being deceptive and stuff. Like, I don't know, we all make our mistakes. I'm the first to stick my hand up, but geez, I don't want to just willfully do something like that. I've got to sleep at night, you know. What's the other piece? I've just gone and lost the screw. That's because it's sitting here already. There we go. That's actually, if you're building this yourself and you're watching along and building one of these in future, do this top up first before you do the bottom bit, because there's like a tension on the plate which makes it somewhat difficult to do up. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, the sponsorship I actually have had for a while. That kicked in just after I released my BRX1 video. The BRX1 was a year and a half ago now. I'm going to need to undo some stuff here. Oh, I do want to undo these thread locked screws. Let me just see if I can apply a little force. This is not the smart way to do it. Going into fibre. There we go. I just need rotation while I'm giving it some downward pressure. Yeah, they've been fabulous. Jason Seng, I think it is. He owns RC-TNT. He is also Boom Racing. He's the guy that does Boom Racing. And I really respect what those guys are doing. They're legit hobbyists, and they've been doing things for a long time with passion. They value what they're doing. So I'm quite happy to jump on board with RC-TNT, which is why there's a lot of BRX stuff here, but they're really good. Oh, Mac, you're at work. RC-TNT, my friend. RC-TNT. Joe Blow says, what tool set to get? Well, it depends what you're trying to do, doesn't it? I go through tools. Honestly, it doesn't matter to some extent, because these bits, they wear down. They just wear down. RC-TNT was throwing these in for a while, which is just a multi set, and I like these because they have one of everything, and you can just stick them into the chuck of a power tool. They're still on ATs. I also have old stuff from Turnigy, but none of these bits are the originals. I actually buy packs of these bits. I've got more sitting around here, because even the hand tools have a grub screw that you can remove, and you can change out these bits. So as they wear out, I replace them. Yeah, here you go. Here's an example. This one has been used, but I buy sets of them. And the other ones I'm actually liking at the moment, because the heads are really, really strong. The bits, they're Cross RC. They came in the The Emo X, they came in the box with the Emo X. They just threw it in. It was really nice quality. So I'm also, you'll see on the desk, this was not intentional for any, there's no sponsorship at all with Cross RC. There should be, I own half the catalogue, but this these are the drivers. Sivat Custom RCs, it was nice to see you. I'll be on for a couple of hours, so yeah, that's cool. Boom Racing has some serious cred around here too. Nice. Well, they make really good stuff, and again, I need to finish this car, but I mean, this is the BRX2 with leaf suspension, and one thing that really attracted me to Boom Racing was the quality of their leaves, and their suspension in general. The way it cycles, it's so beautifully smooth. Everything about it. And these axles are my favorite axles. These are the BRX, looking at the length of the hubs on it, these are the BRX 80s. They're the BRX 70 axles, but they're fully modular. And check this out. Ready? Look at the steering angle on these. And you can buy these. Now, they're not cheap, these axles, but they fit under RC4 drive, they fit under whatever else. So I'm not going to pull it off the shelf right now, but I've got a Grande 2 sitting here behind me that's running BRX 70 axles that fit beautifully. You get the really nice steering angle, and they're just really tough in a way that RC4 drive cheese metal just isn't. So I am a huge fan, and it's very easy to recommend when they're so very nice. Alright, I'm going to try and get a bit more done here because I've slowed down talking. Just got to look after my voice. No worries, Joe Blow. Happy to give you the response. I'll always answer questions until there are too many, and then I'll have to, I don't know, write. Oh, so on RC-TNT.com, RC-TNT.com, I've got an FAQs section for FAQs, the ones that come up a lot. If you look there, you'll get answers to stuff like that. Do I have one for the tools yet? No, I probably should. I guess the done thing, the smart thing would be to fill it with affiliate links and stuff, but I'll only put that kind of thing in if it's actually stuff that I'd use. But yeah, look, the answer is it doesn't matter. Just get whatever handles you like, because the tool bits are interchangeable, and just buy a pack of bits, and then, you know, you don't have to worry about it for a while. Okay, we've got 2 washers. Who else we got here? Yeah, Derp, it's an amazing steering angle. Love the BRX 70s. They're so nice, those axles. Nick Teal, just got into your channel recently, love the videos, man. Well, thank you, Nick. Appreciate you saying that, mate. I still feel like I'm brand new to YouTube, but it's been 2.5 years just the other day where we're cracking on. And in about a week we'll hit 1.5 million views on this channel, which is kind of mind-blowing, especially since I haven't been pumping out shorts, which is a fast way to get the views up. I've got only about, I don't know, 8 or 10 shorts on this channel. Now I'm trying to do something up. I didn't read the instructions. There's a lock nut under it. But yeah, it's just chugging along, and it's been fun. And I got to meet you guys, because I actually live under a rock otherwise, and I wouldn't have known you guys were out here. So that's been really nice. Matt, that does fit your C1 truck. Yes, it does indeed. Okay, so the BRX axles, there's BRX, let me see here. Be back in a sec. I've got it just across the room. I'll show you. Oh, no, I don't. Sorry, I misremembered. They actually are running the Yota 2 axles. I have had the BRX axles under it. It does fit the Marlin body. I think you want the BRX 80 axles, but if you buy the BRX 70s, you can buy a BRX 80 conversion kit. It's not cheap, but it gives you the extra width. There's 70, 80, and 90, and it gives you that extra width. I think it's an extra 10 mils. Yeah. Whatever it is, it lets you fit different sizes. Have a look on my channel for the Grande 2 build. I think it's the one where it's got the the black and red car sitting in the thumbnail. Oh look, I'll show you real quick. Oh Matt, it's just Asia Tees, mate. It's Asia Tees is the channel. I don't want to show you guys my. Oh, hang on, I can. Just half a sec. I've just popped onto another window. We're going to look for the Galande 2, and I'll show you. Maybe not. Scale 1 perhaps. I think this is it. Let me just pop back over to OBS here, and I think we go 3. Yep, here we go. No, it's not that one, sorry. I got mixed up. Anyway, that's the car, and it's got, I don't think we're going to have it in the suggestions either, but you can actually see in this thumbnail, there is the, if we max it, you'll be able to see it a bit easier again. Nope.
I am Craig, and
I am Craig, but that's not what we want. Go away. The thumb doesn't matter. Look, the thumbnail has you could see it has the axles underneath it. Come back to this. It has the axles underneath it. They do fit. Have a look on my channel for the. It's something like scale 1. If I remember it later, I'll link it, and then you can see they do fit. They're really good axles, and then you won't be breaking cups anymore and whatever else. The dog bone and cup system in the RC4 drive ones sucks. I like RC4 drive. They make pretty cars, but their axles just aren't up to the task. They're just not. They are for light trailing, but I don't think I've had, and you know, even with the brush system, oh, if you're really careful, I know, look, the exception doesn't disprove the, well, they say the exception proves the rule. There's usually someone who pipes up and says, oh, I've got Yoda 2 axles, I've never broken any part of them. That's great. I've had a lot of them. I've had at least 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've had 11 RC4 drive Yoda 2 axles. I've broken more than half of them. And I don't drive like a maniac, but yeah, they're just not up to the job. The boom racing stuff, I challenge you to break it. They're really, really tough. All right, now this goes in there. I've got to get a move on here. Hang on. Remove this placeholder screw, which we talked about in a previous video. Before we do that, we're going to pop this in. Does that just fit? Of course it does. And that's these fellas. Hey, cool. Thanks, Matt. In my video descriptions, I always stick links to it, and it's the video description where the actual the affiliate link goes to. If you want to support me, if you're gonna buy it on Asia Tees, use my link. It doesn't cost you anything, and it gives me a bit of a kickback, which helps me buy more parts to support this addiction. I mean, this channel, and then it's I mean, that's why I've got a pile of servos and motors and stuff here. That's mainly paid for by affiliate stuff. Jason and the team are really, really supportive of the hobby. They sponsor events. They've got a blog, which I'm going to be on in a month or two. They're just all around good guys. Oh, actually, I know where to tell you where to go. Look on if you look on RC-TNT.com, RC-TNT.com, and just search for Boom Racing or BRX01, you will see all my articles there to do with it, and they always have all the links to all the stuff, including the axles. That's where you go. Don't worry about it, Matt. Look, we're here to talk. If I was just going to build, I could film it and play it back later. You guys talking with me in the chat, that's part of this video, so that's absolutely fine with me. Now we want to, ow, that hurt. We're going to pop this temporary screw out. Stainless steel doesn't rust as easily, but it's weaker than carbon steel. So when you see screw upgrade kits on the internet and they're all the stainless stuff, it looks pretty, but they're way, way, way softer metal than the carbon steel screws. These are almost always better to get if you want to build something that's going to last. I don't just mean that they don't break, but I mean if it's going to last, it means you're going to use it and there's going to be maintenance, which means every time you stick a bit into the screw, there's a little bit of wear and tear on that surface. These will just last and last and last. You can also hit them with light oil. That'll prevent the surface rust. But yeah, just a quick tip. Alright, and this is the end of this bag. Let's get it finished. Well, that's quite attractive, isn't it? That's a nice piece. This is reminiscent of the T-Bone racing stuff. It's slightly higher precision mold actually. But yeah, I'm sorry T-Bone Racing closed down. That wasn't too long ago either. But they made some really good stuff. I've been buying this stuff for a decade at least. Derp, what's the question? Do you even see it with the SCX24? What do you mean? Have I missed something? I probably have. Mac, if you go to AT through my links in my articles, yes. That's how you support me, yep. And I'm not asking for money, but I am saying, hey, if you're going to buy anyway, use my links. That'd be rad, because it does help me buy this stuff. But yeah. Thank you for the thought. You do you. It's in the description of all my videos too. Oh, I see. Thanks, Derp. The stainless ones break and the black carbon ones seem to last much longer. That's in your SCX24s. Understandable. Yeah, well, they're a softer metal. I'm just going in until I feel a bit of resistance, then we'll finish with a hand tool. That way we don't mince the that's the bulkhead there, and it's fibre, it's not metal, so that's why you're not seeing any thread lock here either. Alright, got to take care of my voice here. Alright, what time is it? We've still got plenty of time today. Look at that! This is really nice. Now, if you haven't seen the previous videos and you don't want to spend the 3 hours it's going to take to watch them, this comes with sway bars front and rear. Okay, so there's the sway bar working. This is a 2.1mm sway bar. Beg your pardon. Tekno being Tekno, offers optional sway bars in 0.1mm, so a tenth of a mil differences, from 2.2 all the way through to 3. For race tuning, that stuff matters, and I said this in an earlier video, just like I said for the different diff oil that you might be using in this car. Given I'm bashing with it, I don't think it really matters too much. A sway bar is better than no sway bar. If you haven't seen it and you're interested, check out my recent Traxxas /4x4 VXL video, and you watch when it goes around the corner. Any corner it's going around, it lifts the inside wheel, so you've only got 3 wheels on the ground. You put sway bars in it, which I've done, but I haven't made the video yet, and that wheel stays on the ground. It really does make a difference, and I get, every time I talk about sway bars, maybe not in this live stream, but on my videos, there's always someone who comes in and says, you don't need sway bars in an off-road car like that. And then they give a technical reason, and that's all well and good, but I can only speak from experience. Without sway bars in a short course truck or a stadium truck, anything that's kind of wide like that, you do. Or at least you may not need it, but it makes a lot of difference when it's in. It just makes a lot of difference. Oh, okay, flashback. I just saw this. It says Tekno RC on this. This is the center dog bone. I just noticed it in the bag. I had a Stampede that I'd upgraded the pants off. It had all the things, and I sold it to someone in Australia for like I don't know, $250. It had like $1,300 in it. But one of the things I had was a Tekno RC center shaft, and it was just part of a really, really high quality build. Beautiful, beautiful machine parts. That was from 2013, I think I bought that center shaft. Good stuff. Alright, we'll get rid of the old stuff. Now, motor time. I have not many motors spare at the moment that will fit this. And although I didn't actually plan on this, because I actually had a different motor I was going to use this guy. 3652 hobby ring. Oh, sorry. Before we change, I'm just catching up on the chat. I forgot I was making a video. You almost forgot to tell me you snagged the special Rolalo RC for the 2-motor supercar, the 947. I'm on the new Rolalo forum they've created for their 1/6 or 1/7 scale road car that they're making, and they're just talking about body options and stuff, and anyone can join. It's raoforum.com, I think. Rayo is the last name of, it's Edison Rayo, he's the Rolalo guy. And he's just inviting people to have a say, have a vote on this, that, and the other. So wheelbase and whatever. It's basically an Infraction or a Limitless 2 in size with a pretty body on it. But that's all. They're not copying. They're making their own thing from the ground up. Right. This has a chart here. Hopefully this is legible enough, right? So it's suggesting a 4-pole motor. The old Traxxas motors were 2-pole. They were the old VXL ones that overheated and sucked. The new ones, well, I say new, 7 years ago now, they were 4-pole. And I noticed the difference in the slash I've got. Okay, so we've got, it's got a recommendation table from 4600 all the way down to 2400. And then for small track and large track, so large track having a big straight, small track being more tight turns and punchier acceleration being needed. 3-cell recommended up to 3200 kV, 2-cell recommended for higher kV. And remember, kV is how many revolutions per volt. I've always wondered, because it says K, why doesn't it just say 46 kV, 43 kV? Anyway, I was going to stick a 3250, I think it's 3250. Yeah, 3250 kV motor, but you'll see this has the 3.17 mil shaft on the motor. And also 3652, okay, so 36 is the diameter of the motor, 52 is the length, so 5.2 centimeters. I've instead decided to use a 3670, so we're 18 mils longer. That sacrifices punch. Let's just say these were the same kV. The shorter one's going to draw more peak current, it's going to get hotter, it's going to give you punchier acceleration, but it'll have slightly less torque than the longer armature in this thing. So this guy will actually be a better choice for a basher. This might be a better choice if you were tuning for like especially a short course. And this is a 3050 kV, not because I carefully selected it for this car, but it happens to be perfect, but that's because I've got the 5 mil shaft on it. And then the number of teeth it recommends, I'm going with 16 tooth again because it's the smallest one I've got, because I've got all sorts of speed racy stuff here. And this fella here fits from 16 to 20 tooth, and if you want to go smaller than 16 teeth, which I possibly would have tried to, you need to purchase a separate TKR 9511 motor mount. Because these are pre-drilled, so that's the downside of having a pre-fitted thing like the TRX4, where you can just you use the holes according to the size of the pinion, and you don't have to worry about mesh. But we're going to use a 3050 kV on 16 tooth, which it suggests for a large track. This combination, 3050, 16 tooth. I said all that so that you'd understand why I tell you this. This is going to be running kind of hot. This 120 amp is going to be running kind of hot, still acceptably. The top speed and the punch with this combination should be pretty nice. So that's what we're going to do. Nick Till, Rolalo is making a big RC. They made the weirdest video. I can't remember the name of the channel, but just look up Rolalo large scale and you'll find it. It's just the strangest video. I'm not mocking here, I'm just saying it was a trippy video, but they were introducing what they're going to be making, and it looks interesting, I'll say that. 46, anyway, I jumped across to their channel, had a look, and yeah, it's interesting. Okay, now I need thread lock for all of this because it's all into metal. I'm going to do this little side piece first. Yeah, right. So the AK917 is an amazing machine. My speedrun videos were largely unsuccessful because it's illegal to run a car on the public road. I purposely went out of my way to pick a, well, it's supposed to be private. It's a semi-private. It's basically a driveway. The one I've used the wrong size screw here. 146. This is what we need. Oh no, hang on. Stopping talking for a sec. No, it's the right screw. But it was just a goat track. It was bumpy and it was really hard to keep the thing on the road, and that's why I crashed out every single attempt. It's not me, it's the children who are wrong. What is going on here? 146, 146. Could it be that it's this fella? Doesn't look right. 13. Being quiet for a sec, trying to understand what's going on. It could be that this is... That's... I don't want thread lock on this for a start. Oh, that's why it's not going in, because it's fiber. Got it. I couldn't quite work it out from the tap, which is why you saw me tap it on a tooth. The resonance kind of helps me work out what it is I'm holding. Yeah, Matt, I've got a friend who before I was doing my channel, in fact, he's aware of this too, I'm sure. We're a bad influence on each other. We both buy, well, one of us will buy the thing and the other one will say, oh yeah, I'm not interested in that car. Then we'll get out with our own car and drive, and the other guy's got this new thing. That's why we both ended up with a bunch of things. The long arm lift kit, the SCX6, the 6-wheel drive stuff, just the list goes on. The problem is RC has never been this good. Although inflation, like the value of money is lower, the cost of living is higher, things are unquestionably difficult. In some weird paradoxical way, the amount of choice, and it's actually probably related, the amount of choice there is for RC stuff now is just incredibly high. It really is. It's never been a better time to be in the hobby. There's just so much choice. Now let me see if we can line these holes up here. I want the wires coming out the top. That's gonna have to be close enough. And I think this is what we want. TKR 1522. 1522. Gee, I've got to look after my voice. Yeah, Mac, that friend is Simon. He's only down the road from me. Top bloke. I can't remember how we met. I think it was on Facebook, and I don't even use Facebook that much, but it was on one of the crawler things. But yeah, really genuine guy. And after work, catching up for a crawl or a bash or whatever. Yeah, it's great. Okay, there we are. I mean, that looks pretty nice. Doesn't have any support underneath it, but you know, this is not supposed to be jumping houses, is it? Okay, that's not going onto the body yet, and we haven't stuck the pinion on yet. I suspect I'm going to do that when I put the motor in here, because that's going to want to line up. Okay, no, we'll do it later. That's fine. Alright, I've really got to crack on here. Servo. So we need at least 20 kilos per centimeter, or 21 kilos. I'm using a 32 cordless. This takes 7.4 volts. The BEC puts out 6 or 7.4 volts, and the radio, I'm pretty sure, takes that as well. So we can just run the whole system at 7.4 and that'll be fine. Quick check on chat. Trying to help drop the price of RC, and they did up their game the last few years. Yeah, absolutely right. RC is at its peak right now and has been for a year or two. I agree. Look at what Axial did last year. A lot of the manufacturers have just kicked it into top gear. They're just really nice. Have I had any Yikong product? I haven't. I did look into the TB7 after you mentioned it the other day. G'day Blitz, by the way. Yeah, I looked at that car. It looks really good. Trailing rear arms, 4073 motor. Yeah, that's a big can. I would be excited too. That looks like a great car. Thanks, Mac, watching me in Sign Drive. Yeah, the SCX6, our biggest adventure yet on the thumbnail. That was really fun. You do wish prices were better on stuff, says Nick, especially being as competitive as RC brands are. Look, prices. Okay, so this is kind of what I'm saying, and I'm not trying to be tone deaf to those that are struggling. I'm really not. I know stuff is hard, and it's a privilege to be just basically playing with toys. So I'm being very careful not to just blow smoke here. But with that caveat in mind, okay, being sensitive to the financial struggles that are so widespread. For the cost of money right now, RC has never been better value. Given that I'm on a public platform here, and that I did want to be sensitive to how people are doing it tough, I did the maths, and I looked at a couple of popular models from just a decade ago and even 5 years ago. The amount of car you get for your money today is unprecedentedly high. It's never been better in almost all cases. And always it would be nice if it was cheaper, but it's amazing what you get for the money. When I get it here, it's coming. It's going to be delivered in the next day or two. The RGT Pro Runner. You wait till you see the amount of trickery that's in that thing. It's one of the all singing, all dancing, what I call full fat RC models that has everything, and it's, you know, around half the price I paid of a TRX for, and it's their own design. They're not ripping off stuff, as far as I can tell. A lot of the RGT stuff's been independent, so that's been great. There are some copies, but RGT seems to be cloning less and less and less stuff over time, which is great to see. And their pricing's still amazing, so that's pretty cool. You remember... Oh, hang on. No, you guys are chatting away. I've missed quite a bit. The Yikong is on its way from China. Yeah, it's a big purchase. It's going to be amazing. Matt says, and I will say also, Matt, and anyone else, I have a neuro/sleep problem. My memory for parts and stuff is strangely great. I can see a page and I'll remember it, but I can't remember conversations really well at all. I'm sorry. You said you taught yourself CAD so you could make your own RC parts, then order them to be made through Shapeways. That does ring a bell though. This is a massive black hole of potential in the tiny truck community. Yeah, although there are a few in the comp community that have been doing this stuff for years, and even in Australia. I'm not a fan of the name, but I'm a big fan of the guy behind the name. Pink Bits RC Crawler Parts. He is in Queensland, and he makes incredibly good stuff. I've got two of his rigs here that I've got to show off. There's the Shapeways option. He also 3D prints some of the stuff that's not high stress parts. They're amazing. Who's the other one? No, can't remember, sorry. But if there are a few American mobs that have been using Shapeways for their parts and their fulfillment. Psychopat's Crawler Bits, he's been on Shapeways forever, and he makes some amazing stuff as well. It's on the tip of my brain and I cannot remember it, but there's another mob that I use here. I can't remember them. They use Shapeways quite a lot, and it's good stuff. And I've only broken one Shapeways part, and that was because the end point of I needed a screw to stop the full throw, and although it looked like it should be fine according to the servo setup, there was a little bit of flex that allowed it to go a little bit further, and it just reefed the whole universal joint out, and that was at ECCF last year. Just shattered the axle, and that was a SLS printed part from Shapeways. But otherwise, yeah, just an amazing piece. Alright, how's this line up? And where's the cable going to go? Looks like they've drawn it in. Put this down, Craig, then you can focus. I'm trying to keep up on your bits. I remember when the Team Associated RC-10 originally launched, it was a very good car, especially for its time, but it was really expensive and advanced. Nowhere near as good in its day as modern cars are now. You remember being way over $1,000 in on the original RC-10 for all the electronics, and $1,000 back then was a lot of money. Now you can get an equally good car today with better, definitely better electronics for like a couple $100. Yeah, awesome. Okay, Blitz, thanks. Yeah, the Pink Bits car was in a video. It was in the New Haven comp. It's like a yellowy sunrise that I took of the place where I was setting up the comp courses that day. Yeah, very nice car. I looked at the screen to look for instructions. The instructions are here. I'm going to give you guys an option pretty soon. I need to go and eat. I'm happy to actually keep this thing rolling. Would there be at least a few of you that wanted to stick around if I just stepped away for 5 minutes or so and came back and kept going, or do we pick this up next time? I'd like to get this build done, which is why I'm still going. It says use thread lock. Alright, we're going to do a different trick here. Just smack a comment in, tell me if you want to hang around for another hour or two, and I'm happy to do that, but I do need to step out for 5 and just take care of myself a little, then I'll be back. I'll show you a trick with thread lock before I go. You're not going to watch me eat. I also need to go and check on a delivery. But look, I've prepared a little looping 5.5 minute video. I edited it this morning just for this eventuality. I'm going to show you some stuff that hasn't been on the channel. Almost all of it hasn't been shown before, and it's mostly trucks, some of my trucks, doing some driving. We're just going to get these screws in. I'll just finish step K3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, they need thread lock, and they're in now. That comes in from underneath. That's how we secure the end of this. So I'm glad I didn't do these up yet. We've got to loosen these fellas. Sorry, I'm trying to keep it on the screen. I'm just going to loosen all of them, except the end one. Alright, now this servo thing is held underneath. Now I've loosened those screws, they should push across. Why doesn't it want to? What have I done? Is it the cable that's in the way? It's the cable that's in the way. Alright, now I'm gonna go get some food. So let me just cue something up for you and I'll be back in a jiff. See you in a bit, guys, and thank you. Alright, talk to you in a sec. Yeah, about 5. almost wide enough. Good, I'm glad you're happy. Alright, all back. Oh, we only went round once, hopefully. Alright, here we are. Yeah, what do you think, eh? I've showed some of these trucks on it, but I haven't really focused on them too much on the channel because they don't tend to get many views, but maybe I'll get around to it. Okay. Oh, you've got a 6x6. That's rad. I didn't know. That's cool. I keep learning more about you, Mac. That's pretty cool. Oh yes, okay, so we were trying to line this up and failing. Maybe this needs to be undone some more. No, they're all loose. Do you know what? I should see what I missed in chat. Just in case there are any questions or whatnot. I didn't know you used to drive trucks, that's cool. And Blitz says he's got a ground hauler. Well, see, Simon wants a ground hauler, I've got to get him one. You're a truck driving the oil patch for a while, well, there you go. And you've got an M923, that's rad. One thing, Blitz, I like about the ground hauler is that that gearbox, it's pretty cool there. The Cross RC 6x6 models are really good. Yeah, they are. And if you got the time and you want to make it accurate, go for it. Alright. Maybe the screws just have to pull this across. Use my hands. I'm just going to pull this back out. I'm not happy with where the wire is. It looks in the picture like it should be fine, but I think the wire is being crammed up against this this brace, and I'd prefer not to squish the wires if I can help it. Time, yeah. Well, everything costs money too, doesn't it? But they do cost time, these things. So instead, I'm going to pop all of these out, and we're going to do the underside first. Now, it's the 1325 on one side. Oh no, hang on. It was the white. Oh, I see. Look, there's a gap here. But then not. What's it look like? They left space with the brace? Oh, look, it says it in the instructions. You may not be able to see it, but I can. It goes through this hole. There. And now I bet they line up just fine. Yeah, beautiful. Alright, now we're upside down, so let's do this. 1325 for 3 of them, and then 1323 is the shorty. There's the 23, here are the 25s. Goodo. Yeah, you're right, El Dudorino. I also value my time more than anything. I hate wasting it. Hate it. Oh, hate is a strong word, but I really don't like when I've got to waste it. It is worth more than anything else. As far as a resource, obviously not more than people, but it's worth, as a resource, it's the most valuable thing you've got. This is going to take a while. And the short one is the back inside one, so I can do the long ones on the others. We'll finish that with a hand tool. That is hilarious. It stank and you still went ahead. Dude's got to eat, right? And then the 323 is this fella. There we go. This is very, very nice. I'm really enjoying this thing coming together. There's quite a gap there on that bottom one. Did I do up those screws before? I think I did. Yeah, I did. Although there's a bit more to do. There we are. Did we do the front one? Yeah, I got it. That replaced the placeholder. Alright. Hey, look at this. This is good too. It's going to keep a lot of crud out of the body from the wheel. It could be higher, but that's a lot better than not being there at all. You can already see how the steering is going to work. Very nice. Okay, now we do these small ones again. And they need thread lock. You are going to have to buy one of these. I'll do a proper review like my normal one. You get to see how it drives, because this is just building it. But look, Tekno has a very good reputation. So we'll I expect it'll drive as well as it assembles. What I was going to do was just drop you know what, I'm still going to do this. I'm going to drop thread lock in on the bottom side. I just don't like it on the plastic. It might be chemically compatible, but still and all. So what we do is just put it in a couple of threads, drop the thread lock in, do it up, undo it, do it up, and then that'll be good. Third one there. Dealing with the cats. We going in here? Yeah, we are. Alright. So what I'm going to do is just do these guys up most of the way. Cat herding, man, that's an IT thing, that is. Among others. Okay. theory, this will keep it off the plastic that it's going through. And again, it's very likely chemically compatible, because otherwise they would have solved this problem another way, but I'm still going to do it. So I'm going to do it all the way up, then undo it, and it should, trying to get you an angle where the light's not reflecting, it should suck it down, and then you come back up and it'll be in the thread. And the thread kind of works its way down sorry, the thread locking compound works its way down the thread anyway, if it's working properly. Undo. And do up. Gee, that had a long way to go. And the last one. Sorry, I know it's not the most stable camera angle here. Yeah, it's close to my face right now. Actually, I'm not enjoying breathing it. Yeah, thread lock's probably not the best condiment. Look what happens when we combine our wisdom here. We're achieving greatness. Alright. There we go. Good. There's plenty of thread lock in the thread there. I've backed him out, done him back up, so that's happy. In fact, we'll toss that one now. He's done. You're out of here. Okay, now ESC mounting options. What do we got here? Here's a plate. And if you look at it, you'll see there are some cutouts here for the width of cable ties, or zip ties, depends what you want to call them. Ah, there you go, zip tie cutouts. So green, sorry, I'm going to learn where this camera looks eventually. So we got green, there are 4 green dots for where it mounts to the chassis. Blue ones for Traxxas ESC holes for whoever's gonna why would you stick Traxxas electronics in a beautiful car like this? Then Tekno Hobbywing ESC holes are the red ones. Alright, so stopping for a sec. So think about that. You want to mount the ESC before you mount the piece, and if you think about that further, because the screws are in the bottom of the ESC, right? So you're going to want to come underneath this plate for the ESC, but you're also going to want to come in underneath it to mount this thing, and look at that. It does come in underneath for everything, which is perfect. So we want to mount the ESC first. Max 8, I think it is. No, it's just a 10BL20. I've got a Max 8 sitting around here somewhere. Max 8 G2. Now I had another sticker, I've already set that aside. There we go. Since we've got it open, just a quick look. I want to check a couple of things here. Alright. It supports 4S up to a 2600 4268 motor. It supports 3S up to 4000 kV 3660. Now this motor is a 3270, but it's so much lower than 4000 that won't matter. I didn't actually realize this thing did 4S, so that's impressive, isn't it? This car is clearly designed for 2 and 3S, but the parts are definitely high quality enough for 4. I'm going to run it on 3 and be happy. And obviously 3050 is within the 3S, not the 4S envelope anyway. 5 amp continuous current BAC, even at 7.4 volts. That's impressive. And there's an independent programming port, and I happen to have here the Hobbywing OTA, which is over-the-air programmer. You plug that into the programming port and then you run. I'll show you the software in a minute. The other thing I wanted to check was just parameters and stuff, just really briefly. Bloody bloody blah. That's fine, we can get to that. Alright, I'll leave this sheet out because we're going to need it. And I don't need to do any soldering today because it already has an XT60. These boxes are really nice quality. I give them to my boy all the time because he uses them to sort stuff. And the JX Servo containers are handy too, actually. Okay, quick Craig stop. Oh, I forgot I was making a video. I'm just talking away. I have not read any comments for a bit. Blitz, my WPL B36 KM is such a great little rig. I have one over my shoulder back here, and you'll find one on the channel towing a trailer. I've got the trailer hanging. Can you see it? If you look at my face in the corner of the screen, there's a trailer right there for the B36, which is great. Hey, you fixed the dishwasher, James. Good job. Oh, you had something fall in. I see. My wife is a speech pathologist, and she has a lot of clinical tools that are silicone, and washing them can be a bit of a pain. Blitz, you have shorts about your B36 on the channel. You cleaned a soldering iron in your juice box, then forgot and drank smoke flavoured juice. Ugh. And I don't know what's going on here. I think my recording has just popped up on me. I don't know why. We're still streaming, aren't we? You guys got me? I hope so. It looks like it. And right, let's keep going, Craig. Now, here are the holes. There are just 2 holes in the bottom of this hobby wing. This is plastic, and I know from experience that this will eat screw. If you're not careful, you can stuff the thread up. So we're going to be careful. Now, let me check the alignment here. I see there's a crescent shape on it, and I want to know where that sits on the chassis. It sits opposite the motor, facing to the front. We've got these round pieces underneath, and it looks like it sits like that. It doesn't look right. I'm confused because it looks like it sits up next to the servo, right up snug next to the servo. Ah, yeah, right up snug next to the servo. There we go. And so we're going to secure it with, I see. So we've got, sorry, I won't worry too much, but you can see the holes there. So they secure like that. How do we want to sit the ESC? Remembering I've got motor and programming on the side. We've got these wide holes here. It seemed to suggest that they were the hobby wing ones on the edge. No, that's Traxxas. Hobby wing can be any of these. I don't know. We can always use double-sided tape. I don't think I've ever screwed an ESC in like this before. Yeah, I think we're going to have a problem. Because while that fits on the plate, it's not going to fit in the machine at either end. So that's an oversight. Do I just drill another set of holes? I could. Or do we just use double-sided tape? It's tempting just to use double-sided tape, honestly. No, stuff it, we'll drill a hole. Why not? We've come this far. May as well make it nice, eh? What do they say? Measure twice, cut once? Something like that. Already upcycling our bits and pieces here. Okay, now I want to line it up with the existing holes, and I think we were happy. Just making triply sure that we've got the right width. No, we don't. I see now, I see now. Okay, so we actually want to line up these guys. Can do, and I want it roughly in the middle. We're not going to be too precious about it. It's about right. In fact, I want it roughly in the middle of the board, so it's going to be about there. Geez, there's a blunt bit. And we also want it lined up with this guy. And because I went a little high, we're going to go a little high again. On an angle. There you go. That's a nice solid base, that is. Now we want to be roughly to the right of that fella. Eyeball engineering for the win. It's not going to be dead straight doing it like this, but it's close enough. Alright, I was familiar with the compound the second time. Yeah, you could go with double-sided tape for now, but meh. It's easier to drill the holes now than having to pull it all apart later, which is why I went for it. It's not a load-bearing part, not really, so that passes my threshold for just saying stuff it will do it. Is a beautiful. Okay, and you're going to tell me what screws to use, are you? 1323, same as before? Well, that looks like the right size diameter too. No, yeah, I do have a proper deburring tool, but it's a few steps away. No, in fact it's in the other building, so no. You could pass me one if you want. I've got good double-sided tape. It was cheap. It's an AliExpress special. This clear stuff, you've got to be careful there. You've got to buy the one that's a couple of mil thick, because they have an even thinner one, but you cannot get the plastic backing off that thin one, no matter how much you try. But the slightly thicker one, yeah, it holds on beautifully. It's a very good. Alright, so we're just going to run the thread through a shade. That's the orientation. The motor, well, do I want to have these little wires? No, I'll have the motor wires on the outside. And look at that. I think we got it bang on too. Yeah, perfect. Oh, how deep are these? They don't look very deep. I think these screws might be almost too long. I can stick a washer on it, or I can go and find shorter screws, or I can just say meh. We'll try the meh method first. So we'll back it off till it's flush, and go back in. Sure, industrial 3M, you can't really argue with 3M tape. That's the stuff to get. For everything else, there's AliExpress. I wouldn't trust anything that says 3M coming from them. Oh, but maybe it's legit, who knows. I don't know what agreements they've got. I'm just guessing. Come on, hole, you're making me look bad. I said it was perfectly aligned. What am I missing? Oh no, I just wasn't lined up. There we go. I bet you're shocked that it's not quite lined up. Unbelievable. The quality control in these Teknos, man. I'm going to write a stern letter. There we go. Oh, AliExpress is definitely a few steps up from Wish. Yep. I've never given Wish any money. People have given me gifts from Wish before, but I would have preferred a high five, I think. Although I appreciate the thought. And then everybody laughed at me because I didn't drill it right. Joke's on them. I like drilling holes. Jeez, it's a little embarrassing now. Yeah, I used to like Banggood, and they even sent me a couple of cars, but they're Affiliate portal never worked. I've earned a couple of $100 from them, but I've yet to get a cent from them. But as a customer, yeah, they've always been very good. There we go. That'll do. Sorry, I know this is fairly shameful, but you choose how much you care at the start and how much effort you put into it, and I maybe chose poorly. But we'll get it in. Derp, do you mean the scanning little turntable thingies? Because there are some good little projects you can print yourself, the turntable jobs. Even ones with stepper motors and stuff. Here we go. You watch, I'm going to run into my next problem after this, and that is the screws are probably too long. Probably. Maybe not. We'll see. Yeah, I think we just reached the limit. Okay, so they're just a shade too long. Should have used double-sided tape, shouldn't I? Oh well. Where's my little bag of tricks? Here. We could go with washers, but I think they're not countersunk, so... Oh, they're not countersunk, so why aren't there button heads here? You'd think they would have been button heads, not these, because there's no countersunk hole. I actually have a bunch of flat screws. These will be the only stainless screws on the whole thing, but they're flat. And I'm tempted to use double-sided tape anyway, after all that. I keep different width spaces as well, though we won't need them today. Yeah, your 79 Bronco swing out tire carriers were rad. And he had he sent me a couple of them. They had clicky pen springs in them as well for the latch, the little snap closed latch. They were just really cool. That was fun. You did a good job. Yeah, I'll use a little bit of tape. Then the screws can still feel like they've got a purpose beyond just passing the butter. Alright. Of course, I didn't really think this through either. That's at the front, that's on that side. Alright. Flat screws in the holes. And if I hadn't done this on camera, you'd never know that I muffed it. I don't mind that you know anyway, because we didn't come here to see how well I can drill a hole. And good, I think. Yes, there we go. Alright, and that should bring it down nicely. This bit has already slipped twice in that stainless screw head. They were just cheap. I bought a pack of them. But nothing has skipped once in any of the carbon steel screws I'm using in this Tekno kit, for whatever that's worth. Well, I'd argue I have a better screw selection here because they're flat, and they gave me countersunk heads, which aren't countersunk holes. So, there we go. It wasn't quite straight, you can see from my drilling, but it's on, and the holes are lined. That's all you can really ask for, isn't it? Okay, and are all 4 screws the same? Yes, they are. 1323, which is these fellas. Cool beans. Yeah, it's coming along. We've still got some. What do we got? The suspension. That's going to be a bit of a time taker. No, this is not right. They seem too big for this job. I'd be using small screws. And I think these. Let me see here. Yep, that makes more sense. All right. Derp, I did see something about the modern armor on the hydraulic press channel, how its properties are so vastly different to the old crinkly, cracky, crushy stuff. There we go. Yeah, modern materials tech is pretty incredible, isn't it? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were waiting, Mac, for feedback. I mean, it would only be polite that I gave you feedback, but I just haven't prioritized it. I've got a lot of builds I haven't finished off yet. Even this poor old BRX2 is sitting here waiting for a body. They certainly look solid. They move freely. They're clearly thoughtfully engineered, your tyre carriers. I quite like them. Wheel carriers, rather. Blitz says he'd love to hear what RC is everyone's favourites they own. I'll let you guys answer that. I'm not really into RC cars. We have motors. Next motor is going to go in facing to the rear. Looks like 5 screws, and 3 will be thread locked on the end. And look, they leave you space for, this is a 70, so you can fit up to a 74 length. So you wouldn't fit one of the crazy 90 motors without pulling the ESC out and moving it somewhere else. But you'll fit a 74 just fine. So now you know. Yeah, cool. Thanks, Mac. I will let you know what they're like. They certainly look thoughtfully designed. It was a delight to receive them, and I will get to it. Thanks for waiting. Appreciate it. We'll get there. Now we want to make sure this is as straight as possible, mathematically, even if I can help it, because the angle that I get this motor put in is going to slightly affect the angle that it has with the gears. So how am I going to do that? We're going to do the outside screws up. Nothing's been done up tight yet. And what I'm going to do is leave the center hole not done until everything else is tight, based on the assumption that the screws are all neatly drilled correctly. I want to get what I can see through of the bracket of the motor brace here. I want to get it as centered as possible. There's not a lot of movement on it anyway, now that we've got 4 screws done up. And in fact, I don't need to worry because there's almost no movement, so no problem. It had a little bit of movement to it at first, which is why I was thinking maybe we'll need to be careful, but once you do it up, yeah, it's fine. So, hooray. Yeah, you're enjoying your Gen 9, aren't you? I owe it some more driving. I've really been enjoying the TRX6 Ultimate Hauler with that crazy motor I stuck in it, and it's got a stronger servo in it now. That's just fun. Look at that, we've got a motor. Then it gives you an electronics wiring diagram. Let's see here. Sorry, I've got to make sure you guys can see so I can think. It looks like they provide a little clip that I haven't installed yet. It's going to hold things down. Did I overlook it? No, I didn't overlook it. There's a clip in the picture there. And they're going to put the radio down the bottom there. Alright, we'll come back to that. What are we up to? Alright. Battery tray and radio. What time is it? Been going for 2 hours and 10 minutes. Yeah, we can do one more round. I'm glad you guys are enjoying your scale cars. It's fun, isn't it? Alright, bag L. Here we go. Back in the older time when we had AM radios, well, as always, the length of the antenna actually is mathematically derived, but the AM radios required a much longer antenna. The modern ones that do actually have a wire coming out of them, it's usually the last 3.6 or something like that centimeters of it that need to be straight and ideally upright, and the rest of it doesn't matter. Something this long, it's nice to have the option, but unless you're actually driving underwater and you need a long antenna poking up out of it to get 2.4 reception, no one's going to need this. And I think my receiver has an internal antenna anyway. For a fast car like this, as opposed to something that's slow and in the distance, I don't know. Reception's pretty good these days. Is it just tradition that they're including these long straws now? These long tubes? I don't think we have any need for it at all. But I guess it's better to have it than not have it and need it. Okay. I will make this the last bag. I just realised I'm starting to feel a little bit tired. I don't want to start making mistakes on this pretty car. Okay, we're going to just get a bit reorganised here. Alright, you guys can see everything. We'll fix it up later. I was thinking of using something like that around all the wiring. Maybe. This is a complicated looking thing, isn't it? Before I do anything, I'm going to take this epic, look at the size of this thing, this epic strap, and stick it through. Blitz, you're going to enter the first raffle now. Talbot's doing a Raminator. Him and Tomley are both doing a lot of those things. They're making good money. I don't think Australian law lets me do anything like that. But they're making amazingly good money when you consider how many entries they get. Let's see here. This is beautiful. Alright, we want to go... I've done something wrong. Hang on. It even tells you. Install battery strap as show in the image. First typo in the whole thing. Do this before moving to the next step. Well, of course. It says start at the other end. Alright. And you want to do it backwards. It doesn't actually say, but you want it backwards so it can fold down on itself, which means that. James just picked up the 124018 Desert Buggy, which is like the Rolalo X12, I think. No, D12, D for Desert. Yeah, you haven't received it yet. I think you will like it. There's a lot of car for the money with those things. This is such a big, thick thing. What I'm going to do is pop in at the end hole. It gives you holes earlier so you can have shorter packs, I suppose. Since we're bashing, we're going to use a bigger brick. Come up the end. There we go. And I got it right. Look at that. Hello, Tekno. It's beautiful. Okay, and quickly reading here, let me just understand what I'm looking at. Just like in the picture. There's a screw hole there, and so the wires are designed to go through this. Sorry, my hand's in the way. The wires are designed to go through this channel here. It might be easier to do that before I do this up, but I think I'd prefer to have it on so I can not try to need to conceptualize it. Look how attractive that is. Gosh, I'm lucky to have this. What a nice thing. This might be one of the nicest things I own. It's pretty good. It may not have the same crazy bashing performance of the Mojave 4S. Maybe it does. But even if it doesn't, this has a feel of quality to it. Let's make sense of this. Come on, brain. 1325. Let's spread some stuff out. Sorry, I forgot there's a strap, isn't there? That is a full strap. It won't come loose. I've got a few WL Toys cars, and I've given a few of them away too. They're very nice. But I understand a lot of them copy the LC Racing. It's right here. Can I reach it without making a terrible mess? Maybe I can't. Hopefully I didn't just hurt an aeroplane then. Alright. This is the EMBT. It deserves a video. I've had it for about 3.5 years, 4 years. It's absolutely filthy. I haven't cleaned it since I had it out the other week. And it got bashed on 3S for ages. Oh, and on 2S actually. On a jumps track with Simon and my boy. And a few others actually. So it's filthy, right? But this is what the WL Toys stuff is based on. Just beautiful. 4500 kV motor. In fact, I think I might have just run this on 2S looking at that kV. Just absolutely smashing. This car just went and went and went. It says it's a 35 amp ESC. It's really lightweight, beautiful sturdy base. The EMBT for Truggy. They've got a few others. There's a short course version, same basic platform, and there's an MT as well. These have been around for a few years now, and then there's the EMB1, which is one of their older ones, but still the same platform. Just incredible machine. You could buy almost 3 WPLs for the price of one of these. And then I'd say the WPLs that I've had a couple of are 60% of what these give you. There's something about, I think what it is actually the quality of the wheels and the suspension. The way it moves, because you can copy a lot of this and have a pretty close machine, but boy oh boy, yeah, I owe this thing a proper cleanup, but it's just amazing. I just saw you guys talking about the WPL, so I thought I'd let you know, hey, this thing exists and it's epic. With the cost of putting dirt everywhere. Alright, come on, let's get it done. Now, let's line these screws up, otherwise I'm going to be sitting here all day. Let's do it. Okay, so there's your little wiring Securo 1401. 1401, there are 7 of these. So I don't need to worry about getting them mixed up. Put them together. And there are some other ones as well. I'm even going to stop talking for a sec because I'm otherwise going to distract myself. Probably shouldn't do this one up until I've got the wiring under it, actually. Oh, hang on. Am I confusing myself? Oh, that's your wiring thing there. So what's this fella? Refer to the wiring diagram on the previous page. You saw that. Wires from the ESC and Servo will be routed beneath the small wire guides in this step. And they do that because there's going to be a center shaft going over it all. Yeah, alright, we'll do it properly. Let me just do up a second screw so that we're aligned. I'll need to apply a thread lock to all this stuff in a minute. Alright. Okay. Tweezers. I've got to work out where to put the power button to. I might strap one of them down and then lead it straight back out to the side there. Something like, keep bumping my head. We got space? We do not. What about down there next to the motor? Is that out of the way enough? Yeah, I think it is. Because another option is to run stuff underneath that plate. I think we'll do that. Alright, now which one goes over that? This is kind of awkward being on separate pages. The cornery one goes... Why am I having so much trouble? It's because I'm holding it backwards. That's better. That's better. Okay, so I've got the straight one here. Alright. I didn't align the page properly, that's why it was confusing. There we go. Oh, that's nice. Really simple. I like it. While I'm thinking of it, I suppose we'll tape this sucker down as well. I haven't been following your chat, guys, but I'm glad you're all having a good chat. I keep glancing at it, but no. I'm going to focus and just get this done so I don't muff it. Alright. What I don't want is the wire to be sitting up against the hot motor. I think we'll be okay if we just park it like so. Just push him out a little bit. How pressy are we? Not very. Yeah, what it wants is to go underneath that leg. Let's do it properly. Correct? Yep. Now we're going to press that up using the screw. What I'm doing is I'm pressing the corner, I know it's not focused, sorry, but I'm pressing the corner up of that so I can just guide this screw underneath. Oh no, I can't do that because it's got to go through the screw. So we'll pull the screw out completely. And we'll do it this way instead. There's very little flex in this stuff. There we go, it's under the tray. Now it's out of the way of the motor, a bit better. Nothing's stretched, and we can put this back in. Winning. Is it the correct one? Yes. guys are funny. Alright, next is going to go around this little corner here because the receiver box is here and there is another, what looks like another retention strap. So if I had a rounded head, not really. Let's use this fella. I'm going to press them down. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Then there we go, look at that. That's a work of art, that is. Now where's my other little plastic jibber? There he is. Keep picking up the wrong screw. There we go. Let's just read the manual, make sure I'm not making things up here. Yep, that's correct. It's weird because there's like a little notch. Just be right back, fellas. I just want to see if there's somebody here. Alright. No, it's just really, really windy. Alright, where were we? It is clean wiring, isn't it? And that sits on a little plastic mold. So we press that down, and the fiber in this is such good quality. Even with these small little machine screws, when it goes in, it's really firm. Like it just bites. That's pretty nice. All right, let's get the rest of this done. I don't know why, but I'm really struggling to get my brain to do these. The front one, have I done it? Yes. Big fellas, these big fellas here, they're very shallow screws. Sorry guys, I'm just not going to read the chat for a sec because I don't know what it is, but I'm just starting to really have trouble thinking. Oh, I do know what it is. Yeah, alright. I'm actually going to get worse, not better, so I'm going to need to stop soon. I'll start, you can see how much I've slowed right down. I think we've used up my horsepower for the day. That's alright, we still got a fair way. Now I need to do the thread lock on these guys. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What am I missing? Strap in the way. Yeah, straps in the way. Kind of obvious, huh? Have you ever had to punch a kangaroo? That's straight Hollywood, man. Or people taking the piss and being silly. That doesn't happen. Although the bulls, the big guys, remember they eat super lean food. They just eat grass. They're so ripped. Once they're alphas, they live long enough, and they get to be the big guys in the mob. Yeah, they're pretty ripped, these roos. But still not very bright around cars and stuff. Their brains just never really got there. They still make stupid decisions. I was watching one this morning. Absolutely huge dude. Looked like he just come out of the gym, and he's bouncing along next to the road while we're driving to school. And you could see it. He was like, do I jump in front of the cars now or now? Everyone slows to a crawl because we all know what these kangaroos are like. 1325 comes up underneath. Oh, I haven't done that one yet. 1325 was one of these fellas. There we go. Alright. And now we just need to apply a bunch of thread lock, and I think we're good. Look at that. I believe that, James. No question. You don't have to punch a kangaroo, but I mean, I was walking my dog once at a local parkland. See, the way kangaroos have a particular, I'll let the story tell it. Kangaroos have a defense that actually serves them really well with dogs. And it's funny because they don't traditionally have predators like that in the country. It's only with domesticated animals here that dogs have become an issue. But if there's a body of water nearby, this is what they'll do. So Tully saw this dog. Tully, my dog, saw this kangaroo. She's a fast dog. And he was just chilling in the trees right near us, and I hadn't seen him. And I'm always looking, but I didn't see him. And her recall was really good, but not good enough, because as soon as he ran, she was after him, and she jumped out. I didn't have her on lead at that point, because she was honestly an amazing dog with that regard. But that was my mistake, because this kangaroo took off, and when they accelerate, you hear what sounds like a snap. Actually, I'll clean it up in a sec. You hear like a snap, and it's actually something like their bones, I don't know what it is, something in their joints, but they really pour on the speed. And the kangaroo goes from, alright, so when they're upright, they go from being straight, right? Like doing. When they accelerate, they lean forward like you wouldn't believe, and their tail makes up a lot of mass of their body. You just hear this snap, and it's just like, poof, poof, and suddenly the amount of ground they cover, I mean, you guys have seen my backyard in videos. I've seen them pour on speed, and they can be out of my yard, I'm not exaggerating, in 3 bounces, like pretty much go across it in 3, maybe 4 bounces at the most. The amount of distance they cover in a jump. Anyway, my dog was young and very fast, and she reeled this roo in, and he went down into a nearby body of water and swam out to the middle. They're excellent swimmers. So my dog, still ignoring me, calling her back, she swims out, and he waits until she's close enough. Then his front legs, his paws, grab her and push her down under the water, and his back legs go choo, choo, choo. And she got cut open. It just missed her heart. He cut her open, and that scared her off. And finally, she came back looking very bedraggled, and she was in shock. But I picked her up. I could see inside her chest. I picked her up and brought her back and hightailed it to the vet, and she made a full recovery. But it's a very effective defense mechanism that kangaroos have. They'll hold an animal down under the water, or a person if you're dumb enough to have a go, and try and cut you open with their very powerful legs. And if you're in Australia, you'll be used to seeing this if you're anywhere near the countryside, which is, well, most of the country, isn't it? They'll even from a standstill, there'll be a fence that's as tall as their head. And without a run up, they'll just go doing, as if gravity just doesn't apply temporarily. Incredible animals. Yeah, they're super powerful. Yeah, that was Tully. Yeah. Oh yeah, she made a full recovery. This was a decade ago. We lost her to a tumour about 1.5 years ago, a big one in her tummy we didn't know about. But yeah, I miss that dog every day. She is a good dog. Okay, what time is it? I am on my last wind. Let's just smack this in. I'll show you the radio I'm going to use. I'm still not done with the radio link yet, but we're going to use the Noble. This is the NB4. This is a beautiful, beautiful radio. It's a detachable base. It's a 4 amp battery pack in here with USB out. And it also charges the machine itself, which also has its own battery. It's a full touch screen, comes with a RAM mount type thing, ready for phone, camera, additional telemetry stuff, whatever you like. This moves any way you like, so the lefties can rejoice, because not only does this thing move around, but that button and that button map to the same feature. This wheel is the same physical wheel as this side, so you've got 2 wheels in a row here. They map to the same feature. This little turny thing, I think is no, it is the same. Now that's curious because it's not mechanically linked and yet it's the same. I wonder how they handle that in programming. because it doesn't move. You'd think they'd both move at the same time, but they don't. Yeah, it's just beautiful. And then you've got flappy paddles here for switches on each side. These are 4-way hat switches, and then you've got the full touchscreen interface. But that's not the best thing. The best thing about these things, it's not even the multiple receivers it comes with, although it does come with some beautiful receivers with all sorts of telemetry and stuff. That's the one we're going to use here. Let me see, it even has a wireless charger, USB. You can sit this on it and the whole radio will charge. That's not the best thing. The best thing for me, I can't show it to you because it's already in, I've already installed it. You've got all sorts of additional little, you can customize it, right? And here's your phone bracket for that mount at the top. So you unscrew it and you can smack a phone on this thing here. The best thing about it is that it handles an 18 plus 12 channel receiver system using iBus. You can control a truck. See, I've got if you look at me in the top here again, right behind my head, so I've got to move. Above the Tamiya paint cans there's a hydraulic tip truck. It's got three axles on the back. It's got hydraulic up and down. It's got you can pick up the front of the 3 rear wheels, winch that up. You've got the tipping mechanism. That's your hydraulics. What else is there? It's got it takes 5 channels. This trailer takes 5 channels. And then I've got some trucks that take a lot of channels as well. So they have a master and a slave system for the radio where you can control selectively 18 plus 12, 2 receivers on the same machine. It's made for heavy equipment, trucks and stuff, but it also has a really low latency for racing if you turn all the bells and whistles off and just use 2 channels. It's just such a beautiful radio. It's not cheap. Hang on, does this turn it on and off or something? Yeah, there we go. Right, so that's the radio we're going to use. And yeah, of course, there's mixing throughout, as El Duderino says, and you're probably right, they can be separated. Even their basic receivers have iBus, but we are just going to use the traditional PWM channels. Now I think the correct terminology here is binded, not bound. I haven't binded this radio to this car yet. That's my ESC, which is going to be channel 2. That up, I can smell it. Steering, which we need to center before we install. Yeah, I'm still looking at the other semi-premium radio set, the Radiolink RX8. That's another beautiful one. Right, what we can do is actually give this power now, and I'll just bind it. And we can straighten the steering before we attach the Bellcrank and servo arm, because that's what we're up to.
Welcome to Noble.
Thanks. Nice to be here. Model. So my BC8 is on the first profile because I need all those channels. I've got a 12 channel receiver in there. I think I want to turn this vibrating feedback thing off, the haptic thing. It's kind of annoying. CT410 2.0. Oh, I'll call it what it's called, 2.0. Nope, that's character limit. Fair enough. Radio frequency setup. I've got to remember now. There's 2-way and 1-way. 2-way is for when there's telemetry, which we're not using, but I need to change something and I need to remember what it is. There's a slightly different setting to use for the FGR4S V2. It's still AFHDS3, but there's something different about it. So I've got the bone button in. Oh, I didn't save it. Well, that's annoying. So I won't make you guys sit through this. I'll just call it Tekno. I'll fix it later. Oh, I reset it. I see. RX set interface protocol. That's what it is. It's definitely PWM, but I'm not going to fiddle with that. There's something I had to change. What was it? Frequency. Nope. Let's just try and bind it and see what happens. Oh, it's classic, not enhanced. And there you go. Only this mode for an FG, whatever it is. FGR4S. Why don't we quickly just plug the motor in. You know, I didn't check that these cables could reach. I guess if we bend them, they'll reach. Well, that's fine, derp, except you don't get a stock one in a kit. Although what you can do is just get another receiver. And if you're lucky enough to have a model that has a Dumbo RC radio, you're laughing, because those receivers are cheap and plentiful. I've always loved FlySky myself, but Dumbo's certainly been nice. And the nicer Radio Link has been good. I quite like the FlySky. I mean, I already liked FlySky before I met Radio Link, but Radio Link's also really good. Okay. Start, bind. One of these will have to be... There we go. Bind already. Done. That was easy, wasn't it? Alright, now we're going to turn that off. Yes, we are. And steering is centered. Yes, it is. That's alright. Keep your pants on. We don't need to worry. Alright, so now that we've got that, the steering's neutral, we can now set up the rest of the steering and carry on our merry way. That was pretty easy, wasn't it? Bind plugs out. Now, I did say I have an over-the-air programmer for the Hobbywing. There's a programming port. It's underneath here, but you can plug it in. I'll get to that probably in another video. Let's just finish this steering assembly and then we'll call it a day. And you know what? I haven't read any chat for a little bit because I was starting to tire. Let's see. Dumbo RC is very good, and the what was it? The F6X, no, the X6FG is the one that has the gyro, or X6G. The FlySky GT5 Casitas, g'day Casitas. The FlySky GT5 is excellent as well. Yeah, that's been a favorite. I actually have 4 of them, and their memories are almost all full, which is a bit ridiculous, but that's the nature of doing a channel, I suppose. Now let's get this little steering arm done. Man, this thing's nearly ready because I've got the wheels here now. The body's painted, electronics are in. This is only going to need one more video, I think. Yeah, we're most of the way through the manual. How about that? We did it. James says he's been looking at a GT3B. That uses the original AFHDS. James, I would, if you like FlySky, let me encourage you, unless you really want that custom firmware that's available for it, the GT5 is an otherwise fairly superior radio. Again, unless you want mixing for some reason, and there is a beautiful custom firmware you can download that's like a forums available thing. You'll find it on RC groups. The GT5 is a brilliant radio. 20 model memory. The B6 or something like that, the receiver it comes with has a gyro built in. And the FSA3 receiver is a 3-channel receiver that's also AFHDS2 protocol, which is GT5. It's about $10, and the FSA6 is about $13 or $14. And you can then have 3 or 6-channel control. I really recommend the GT5 unless you need mixing, in which case, yeah, you'll need to look at other options. Gee, we're nearly done here. How about that? This is good. Alright, it's got a countersunk bass in the horn. Washer. I've measured the arm, so we're happy with that. And this flanged nylock, everything's been nylocked, which is beautiful. No thread lock needed. And the Dumbo RC is very good as well. If we're talking cheap ones. I'm going to actually do a radio system roundup in the not too distant future. We're going to look at some premium ones. I've got Sunwa. Hang on, sorry, need a drink. Yeah, righto, James. If you don't need mixing, which means you get another channel to do something while you got a channel doing something like throttle, like on my BC8, when I accelerate, I want more smoke coming out from the smoke machine on another ESC. But when I'm on idle, when there's no throttle, I want it to still have some input. So you can set mixing so that it's like by default at 30% or 50%. And then as you accelerate, it ramps up and you can give it expo and all the rest of it. Mixing's useful for that. But if you don't have a need for mixing and you do want to get a radio that you can use for all of them, either the Dumbo RC X6, which is a great cheap radio, but it doesn't have memory. You can bind to an unlimited number of receivers, but again, it doesn't have memory, which means you need to set the trim and channel reverse every single time you connect to a different model. GT5 has model memory, so once you bind, you just have to select that model when you want to use it, and all your settings are there. So it comes down to what you want out of the machine. I need a different screw. I've got one sitting here that's not part of this build. I think we just use that. Perfect. Or it might be a bit long actually. And I read something else. Casita's Crawler says, how much time up to this point is invested in this build? Well, we actually can track that because I've live streamed all of it. What are we at? We're 2 hours 45 in. We did an hour and 18, then an hour and 54 or so, and now we're at 2:45. So there's your answer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-ish hours. If I wasn't trying to talk to the camera, read comments, keep things in frame, I don't know, you could do this in, even at a relaxed pace, in like 5 hours, start to finish probably. Add another hour for masking the body, and then painting the body, and then applying the stickers. That was about another hour. And maybe, oh, I know, that's probably about it, you know. Let's call it depending how experienced you are, this is a 4.5 to 8 hour build, let's put it that way. If you haven't done any kits before, you'll be slower than I have been here, most possibly. What have I done wrong here? Just wasn't threaded straight. There we go. There, flange nut. Now, are we happy with that alignment? I think we are. I had that. Yeah, that's good. Now we've still got suspension to do. Max says he likes Spectrum. I can't knock Spectrum because certainly, like with the, you can see above my finger here, the infraction in particular is like the primo example of how to do ready to run radios well, because the gyro system, it's implemented perfectly. I've always found programming Spectrum to be a royal pain. I really don't like Spectrum from that regard, but I'm sure they're fine otherwise. Like, they work fine. I have a lot of Spectrum radios here now that Horizon's just doing Spectrum. Quick check to make sure I haven't missed anything before I move on. Actually, let's just give it some juice real quick. We'll just check the steering is good. Oh yeah, look at this, look at this. Servo, if you're wondering, is a cheapie, but it's one of the greats. That's not its name. It's a CLS HV for high voltage, 7.4 volts, 7332MG. Oh, there you go. CLS, does say it. CLS HV7332MG. It's coreless, so that's not going to last as long as brushless, but beautiful. Oh, I never put that last screw in before. Let's just back up a quick sec. Glad I saw that. Anyway, that's good. We got that. We got a motor. Oh boy. I did notice that. Thank you. You're so helpful. What was the last screw? It looks... Was it this? Maybe that's why I got this sitting here. Let's just go back real quick. Ding-a-ding-a-ding. Oh, I haven't missed a screw. Let's look at the... Hey, look, there's a hole and it's empty. Well, there we go. Alright guys, I'm going to call it. My brain needs a recharge. This has been fun. You know what, before we go, I'll let you guys stare at that, and I'm just going to have a quick look over. We've been talking radios. Eldudorino Lebowski says, I've been really pleased with Turnigy. If we're talking about radios, I have a Turnigy branded GT5. That was my first of the GT5s, and they're really good. Blitz RC says, Dumbo RC do mixing. Some would, the basic one doesn't. James, if you have a Dumbo, you want better model memory. You don't need model memory with the non-digital screen Dumbo RC radios, because you can bind any number to them, and they'll sorry, I'm talking away from the mic, and they're a fresh connection every time. So you just got to fix your trim. It's not. Blitz, as a former salesman, I was taught never to say cheap. It's inexpensive. Yeah, but Dumbo is cheap. It doesn't have the same nice feel, but the performance is there. So it's a cheap and expensive radio. How about that? Let's go with that. It is cost effective. Casitas Crawler says, I'm starting to change everything to Hobby Wing when my Spectrum stuff blows up. Not a bad choice. Big fan. I like Castle stuff, and I like Holmes Hobby's hacked versions of his Castle ESCs too. They're really nice. But Hobby Wing value is there for the ESCs. Guys, that's going to finish us for today. We have a nearly complete model. It's been just about 3 hours. Boy, oh boy. But look what we got. Look what we got. This feels really nice. It's tidy as well. The center shaft's going to go across here, and I need to make sure that everything's routed out the way. It's pretty good, but that I'd like to be a bit low. There we go. There we go, that's pretty good. And the center shaft's going to come through right there. We've got to attach the rear bulkhead, the center diff, which has already been made, and it's going to sit like so. It's a thing of beauty, isn't it? Alright. Well, thanks for joining me, guys. It's been fun. It's been a long one, actually. I don't know when I'm going to do the next one. It might be tomorrow, it might be next week. I really want to finish this so we can finish out our 8-way short course truck comparison, because I also have the Baja Ray 2.0 sitting here waiting for me to drive it. And I won't pick it up. There's a Super Baja Ray sitting here on the ground next to me as well. Yeah, it's been fun. I've been happy answering questions as well. I really appreciate you guys just chatting away. Yeah, I didn't get this before we started doing live streams, but this little chat thing here, this is like a really short-lived chat room of like-minded people that is otherwise not around. So that's kind of cool, hey? I'll do another one soon. Thanks, everybody. Throw me a like if you haven't. And yeah, I'll catch you again on RC-TNT. Watch out, my channel is going to have in 2 more days. It's going to have the 1/8 scale rally car. I won't pick it up and show you now, but it's the new Maverick Quantum RX. Well, it's not new, but the value's amazing. It's less than a year old, 4S capable, beefcake motor. That's fun. So that's coming on my channel next. We'll finish up the short course stuff. I've got some crawlers here. We've got the new RGT Pro Runner to do. Zool is finally here, and we have some absolutely epic monster truck stuff as well. I've got enough to keep me going until February, March without spending a cent. So we're going to do that. Thanks, guys. I'll catch you again on RC-TNT. You guys are the best. Catch you next time. Yeah, it's been good. See you guys.